we had some breakdowns that kind of let them kind of make a spread in the game. But I thought we played hard. I don't think our errors were lack of hustle, but we've got to do a better job of sticking with the game plan. But you're not going to win shooting 34%. Winning this league shooting 34%. We got to make shots.
Able to make the little run, tie the game back up. What happened after that timeout from your perspective?
We had some breakdowns defensively. Gave them too good of looks. They make open shots. That's the way we've been for the last couple of years. We've had upperclassmen handling the ball. They've got upperclassmen handling the ball. We don't, and we have some breakdowns. We're trying to throw it into a freshman, and he's taking a beating. So.
Yep, he drew 13 fouls that were actually whistled.
Yeah, that's good. That were actually whistled. Yeah.
Has Barry Brown matured a lot since the first time you can remember?
He's terrific. I compare him to Javon Carter, what JC did here in his maturation process. He's a terrific defender, and he's obviously become a very good offensive player.
How'd you feel about Brandon Napper tonight?
It's a learning process. I don't want it to be, but it is. He and Jordan both, I mean, they do some good things, and then they get off the reservation, and it's a team game. You can't. I mean, for instance, like we were supposed to soft hedge in the middle of the floor when we soft hedge and just stood there, and that's when they got the basket that really I thought broke our back. Guys should have called 3 seconds. I think he was open under the basket for about 8 seconds. We couldn't find him.
You played 8 players for most of the game. Was that a plan going in, or just the way things?
Trying to win, man. Trying to win. Trying to win, and you try to reward the guys that work at it. The guys that are good in practice. Those are the guys you trust. Guy doesn't know what he's doing in practice. He's probably not going to figure it out in the game either.
You say you had the defensive breakdowns, obviously shooting struggles, plus you have to implement a game plan. How difficult is it when you enter a practice to decide what to work on in a particular day?
Well, we were in the practice facility for a good 3 hours yesterday, and it wasn't. We weren't running up and down the floor or anything, but we looked at how we scored against them. We looked at how they scored against us. We went through their personnel. We broke down their sets. We guarded their sets. We tried to put that 1-2-2 zone in. That was a one-day deal because we're going to have to play some zone. And 1-3-1 hadn't worked for a while, and obviously that 3-2 didn't work very well. We've tried 2-3. We've tried 1-1-3. So we're reaching. I can lie, but we're reaching.
The way Brown hits those mid-range jumpers, I mean, not a lot of guys shoot that, and the analytics say not, but he's got such good touch and got open in there. Is that something, I mean, I guess that's in the scouting report, obviously, that he's going to work to try to get to that space, but that's sort of an unusual thing to see out of guards these days.
He reminds me of JC. I think he has improved dramatically from year to year to year. And that's obviously because he puts a lot of work in. And he's also a terrific leader. I mean, he keeps those other guys in line, much like, you know, our guys did here. Now we got freshmen out there, they just don't, you don't have the same effect.
Coach, talking to Lamont, you know, the adjustments he's had to make, guarding bigger, catching the ball maybe in some different spots. You know, he tries to make it sound like it's not a big deal, but, you know, has he been asked to adjust quite a bit to his game at all? Or?
I think if you look at the shot chart, Lamont still takes a lot of threes. He's posting a little bit, but that was with mismatches. We were trying to mismatch him. We just got to get our guards to understand that when we have a mismatch, throw the ball in there. Don't dribble it to the other side or try to get yourself a shot.
You guys haven't really asked him to.
Well, he's got to. I mean, he's going to have to. You got Derek, and that's it. And we have a hard time. You have a hard time playing big when no one can pass. So. We've tried to play big a little bit. Hasn't worked real well. It works when you have skilled bigs. Just like, you know, perimeter works well when you have skilled guards.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble here, but I think there was one foul on them in the last 15 minutes. You had them reeling a little bit, and some guys on the bench that they probably wanted in, and they're changing their defenses, but unable to continue that. Was that a factor in some things that went forward for you down the stretch?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't say a whole lot, but I think what we strive for in this game is consistency. You know, you don't want guys that go 8 for 10 one day and 1 for 10 the next day. And, you know, our guys ought to expect us to be prepared and give them a workable game plan and tell them what is going to happen, you know, from an offensive standpoint, from a defensive standpoint. I think it's only fair that everybody on the floor ought to have to do the same thing.
Anything else?
Yeah. Just watching the game, it looks like there's trying some exotic things on Derek, and
They're just doubling him.
But you mentioned before, he just doesn't know what's going on right now. That sets, I understand too, but with this type of defense, the size of people running out of this, what's he going through? Just dealing with 2 and 3 guys of them now.
Well, you know, we didn't have any time to work on it. Kansas did it, and we had one day, and you can only do so much in one day. I couldn't keep him in there for 5 hours, you know. We'll work on it. He's a good passer, so he'll figure it out. You know, he's got a quarter to the middle. He can't quarter to the baseline. There's no one to throw it to when he quarter to the baseline. You have to throw it through people, which he tried to do a few times. So he's got to quarter it to the middle. And our other guys got to do a better job of getting out of line. You know, it's as much our other guys as it is him. But then I'm still looking for the definition of that cylinder thing, you know. And I understand. I mean, it's hard to me. It's impossible to officiate something that's invisible, right? It'd be hard for you to report on something invisible, wouldn't it? And we're asking guys to, you know, figure out an invisible cylinder. It's well. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Coach Weber's on